Hi, this is Travis Tainter again, and in this video I'm going to show you how to keep score in bowling. I know that a lot of us rely on the scoreboard above us to keep score, but it's always good to know how to keep score by hand, just like the good old days. Alright, now, here I have, to begin with, for you that don't know, a bowling game is made up of 10 frames. You get 2 chances within each frame to knock down all 10 pins. If you knock down all 10 pins in the first throw of that frame, it is considered a strike, and you move on to the next frame. If you don't knock down all the pins in the first throw, then you will get a second chance to try and knock down the rest of the pins. And if you succeed with that, then you will be given a spare. And if not, then it'll just be added up the way it is. So to begin with, I have here a game written up. So let's say first frame, I bowl a 9 and a spare. Now, with the spares and with the strikes, you do not calculate that frame score until the next frame. For example, the first one, I bowl 9 spare. I will not calculate first frame's score yet, because the spare equals 10 plus the next one shot that I throw. So in this case, I throw a 9 spare, and then the immediate next shot that I throw is a strike. So with that, a strike equals 10. In this case, a strike equals 10, which, yeah, always. And so it'd be the spare equals 10 plus the next shot. So 10 plus 10 gives you a first frame score of 20. And then you move on. You already counted this strike for the first frame, but you still have to count this strike for this frame's score. So in the second frame, I bowl a strike. Now, after bowling a strike is 10 plus the next 2 shots that you throw. And if you throw 3 strikes in a row, then that gives you a score, a frame score of 30. So in this case, what did I do? I bowled 3 strikes in a row. So that is 10 plus the next 2 shots. So 10 plus 10 plus 10, which equals 30. So then I take 20 as the first frame plus 30 to get the second frame's score, and the second frame's score then concludes as 50. And with the third frame, I bowled a strike. A strike is 10 plus the next 2 shots. So in this case, it's 10 plus another strike, which is another 10, plus the next one is a 3. So you have 10 plus 10 plus 3, which equals 23. So then you add 23 to 50 to get a score of 73 as a third frame's score. In the fourth frame, you can see I bowled a strike. A strike plus the next 2, which is a strike, a 3, and then I didn't bowl anything. I missed on the fifth frame. On the fifth frame, I only hit 3 pins total. So then to calculate the fourth frame's goal, it's 10 plus 3 plus 0, which is a score of 13. So I take 73 plus 13 to get a score of 86 as the fourth frame's score. in the 5th frame, you can see I bowled a 3 and a 0. Now with the open frames, by the way, open frames is where you do not get a mark, you do not get a spare, and you do not get a strike. So 5th frame is an open frame with a 3-0. So that means I will just take the last frame's score and just add a 3 to it. So in this case, it's 86 plus 3, which gives me a score of 89 as the 5th frame's score. Moving on to the 7th frame, or excuse me, not 7th, 6th frame, I bowled a 7 spare. In this case, it is 10, because I got a spare, so 10 plus the immediately the next throw, not 2 throws, just 1 with the spares. So it would be 10 plus 4. 10 plus 4 equals 14. So I would take the score of 89 and add 14 to it, which gives me a score for the 6th frame as a score of 103. Let me come over here now. So you got that as 103. Then in the in the 7th frame, I bowled a score of a 4 spare. So what have we learned? We've learned that a spare equals 10 plus the immediately next 1 shot. So I got a spare, which is 10, plus a strike, which is 10. And the way I think of it is if I ever see a score sheet where it's a spare and a strike, automatically just remember in your head a spare strike is 20 points. So then I would take the score of 103 from the 6th frame, and I would add 20 points to get 123 as the 7th frame's score. In the 8th frame, you can see I bowled a strike, and a strike plus the next 2 is what gives me the score for this frame. And as you can see, I got a strike and a spare, which automatically in my head says plus 20. So I would take the score of 123 from the 7th frame, and I would add 20 points to that to get me the score of 143 in the 8th frame. Okay, now we move to the 9th frame. In the 9th frame, I got a 2 spare. So that would be 10 plus the immediate next shot, which was an 8. 10 plus 8 equals 18. So then I would take the score from the 8th frame of 143, and I would add 18 to it to get a score of 161 as my 9th frame. And then finally, the 10th frame is always the tricky one, but for beginners it is, and then you get really acquainted with it, and it becomes really easy once you bowl for a while. In the 10th frame, if you get you got the 2 tries, as in all the other frames, and if you get a mark, if you get a strike to begin with in the 10th frame, then you get 2 extra shots in the 10th frame. Now if you only bowl a spare in the 10th frame, then you only get 1 extra shot in the 10th frame. So in this case, and then of course if you don't mark at all, then it's just the regular, and then it's just score up, you're done. But in this case, I bowled an 8 spare. An 8 spare says 10, and then I get the extra shot. Only one extra shot because I bowled a spare. So this tells me 8 spare, which a spare is 10, plus the immediate next one, which I can see is a strike, which is another 10. So automatically, when you see a strike and a spare, or a spare and a strike lined up side by side, that means automatic plus 20. So then you would take the 9th frame score of 161 and add 20 points to it to give you a final score in the game of a 181. So I hope this video has helped you learn how to keep score by hand. It's tricky to begin with. It's kind of hard to grasp the concept of how to add the numbers up right. But once you get more acquainted with it and practice more, then it's easy as pie. So thank you. I hope you learned how to bowl, how to keep score. So thank you, and good luck bowling.